Hello and welcome to Unboxing Day. Yes, Canada has its Boxing Day, but strat-o-matic has its Unboxing Day. As you can see here by all the cards, we have lots of sets of cards to be unboxed. And we're going to do this, or to be unwrapped, and this is to be unboxed. And so we're going to get right to that. Alright, it's unboxing day, and I have my supplies, my regular envelopes. You can literally get them anywhere. Some people like coin envelopes, so be it. It's just harder to reach in and grab your cards when you got only one hand free, whereas with these envelopes you got one hand free. There you go. You're getting into the cards and getting them out with one hand. You can write on them, and as I've already written on this, Yankees, I put their roster on there. So it's pretty easy to use those cards. You can get them anywhere, super inexpensive. And let's get right to the unboxing. And here we go. Careful with that. Through to the cards. Be careful. There's the ripping of the cardboard strapping tape. And bubble wrap. Rubber bands, you know what I consider these good for. Tossing in the garbage. And Stratitude, alright, so I'm going to have to put that up. Maybe that'll go right here in the middle of the monitor. What do you think? Goes in the monitor? Oh, that might not be such a good idea. Alright, we'll find a spot for that. Roster sheets, ballpark effects, and when I play, I don't ever use them. And these sets of cards. There we go, and what sets do I have? Well, we have, of course, over here we got, I believe I got 55, 57, 59, some 60s, and 86, and what else, 72, and here today that I just unboxed is 34, and, oh, it's backwards, it's switching around, and 41. So I'm going to take one open one up, and do a team. I'm going to do the folding, unfolding thing that I do to help rip the seams apart on the cuts, so that it makes it easier to pull them apart. Okay, what I have here is some sheets from that bundle that I unwrapped, and what I like to do is I like to, instead of playing stock teams, I like to play an all-star team of teams that are relevant to each other. In this case, in 1934, you had two teams in Boston, two teams in New York, the Giants and the Yankees. Brooklyn is not in New York. It's in a section of New York, but I'm counting that separate. Two teams in Philadelphia, two teams in Chicago, and two teams in St. Louis. So if you're counting, that is 5 cities with 2 teams. And then the state of Ohio had 2 teams, Cincinnati and Cleveland. And that leaves Detroit, Pittsburgh, Brooklyn, and Washington as the odd teams out. The reason I like to do that is I find that cities with 2 teams, they have complementary players. One might have had a great bullpen, and the other might have had terrible starting. But great bullpen, terrible starting, so they complement each other there to make up a good team. And I like to use the DH because you're inevitably going to have an extra great hitting player. You know, how do you choose between, let's say, if Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, and then you got the other outfielders from the Giants. So I don't know, Willie Mays wasn't around then, but you know, let's say we're talking just before the Giants left. You've got Mantle and Willie Mays. Who do you play in center field? You know, so somebody's got to play and somebody's got to sit. Well, the DH allows them to at least hit. So what we got here is we got a sheet with Boston National League and a sheet with Boston American League. And so we're going to do the folding and separating. And so I get 3 sheets because that's usually the all the team players, 27 players. Sometimes there's less, but generally there can be 27. And so I fold it over and fold it over. And so I do this, the Z, and then I fold it back the other way and do that, and then I do it this way. So I fold it over that way. So I just do that a few times to create the tension on the seams so that they can more easily be separated. And then I start one, and I just gently do that. As you can see, I don't have a holder for my cell phone, otherwise I'd do it two-handed, but you can see that it starts to separate pretty easily by doing that. Just 3 pages and it'll make it pretty good. Okay, so now you can see I have one out, and so I will now do a little more folding, and then I can separate the last group. So see how easy it is to separate them. Alright. Okay, now I have my 2 piles here. One's the Boston National League team, the Braves, and the Boston American League team, the Red Sox, and I'm going to make a Boston All-Star team. Those 2 teams, the best players on that team. Okay, here's the 2 teams of Boston All-Stars of 1934, and there's a span of the names, are all sorted. Pitchers on the right, and infielders in the middle, and outfielders on the left. And you know, there's some pretty good players in there, some Hall of Famers, but both teams have some major flaws. And these years there wasn't a lot of relief pitchers because more complete games were thrown, and players both started and relieved, pretty much all of them. So there's going to be a lot of starter relievers in this all-star team with a few relief starters, and then we'll pick the best fielders, hitters, and create a team, hopefully 25, no more than 30 players, and create a lineup. Thanks. Okay, we have our Boston All-Stars. Some good pitching there, starting with 3-something ERA, and a couple guys who were mostly relievers and partially part-time starters. There's our catching and first base, infield, and backup infielders, and our outfield. And let's count how many cards there are for this team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitchers. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 infielders. 2, 3, 4, 7, and 7 outfielders. Yeah, that's nice. 9, 8, 7. And so we have, what, 17, 24 players, right? Did I count that right? 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 7 is 24. All right. And these outfielders, a lot of them, well, 3 of them played one position, but 4 of them played multiple positions. And so there's a lot of versatility there. And you notice there's a couple of Hall of Famers in this group. So not a super team, but a pretty good team. And I'll make the lineup next. Okay, there's our starting pitchers. And you can look these up on baseballreference.com to get your stats for who they are. Catcher, first base, second, third, and shortstop. And then we have our left fielder. One of these guys is going to DH. And then our center fielder. And then these guys are going to platoon. One's a left-handed hitter, one's a right-handed hitter. And there they are, put away in the envelope. Putting together all the videos into one. And video editing software free online. Well, I figured out where to put my strat-o-matic sticker.